You've been lied to about the Wizard of Oz your entire life, not just misled, not just given a sanitized version, actually lied to. Because when MGM turned Frank Baum's book into that Technicolor dream in 1939, they erased something crucial. They changed Dorothy's shoes from silver to ruby, and with that one alteration, they buried a revolutionary message that was supposed to wake America up. This wasn't an innocent creative choice. This was Hollywood protecting the powerful. Frank Baum didn't write a children's fantasy. He wrote a battle cry disguised as a fairy tale. Every yellow brick, every companion, every witch was a weapon aimed directly at the men who were murdering his neighbors. And he knew that wrapping it in magic and wonder was the only way to smuggle the truth past the censors and into millions of homes. The real story starts in a place most people have never heard of. The town that America forgot, Aberdeen, South Dakota, 1888. Frank Baum owned a general store on Main Street. Not a big operation, just enough to know every family in town by name. He knew which kids loved peppermint sticks. He knew which farmers drank their coffee black. He knew Mrs. Peterson's daughter was getting married in the spring. Then, the rain stopped. 2 years without rain in farm country means 2 years of watching people die in slow motion. First, they stop buying anything except absolute necessities. Then, they stop buying necessities. Then, they start selling everything they own, piece by piece, trying to delay the inevitable. Baum kept a ledger behind his counter. Page after page of debts he knew would never be repaid. But he kept extending credit anyway, because what else could he do? Let them starve faster. The bank down the street had a different approach. Every Monday morning, Baum watched farmers line up outside First National. These were men who'd built their homesteads with their own hands, men who could fix anything, survive anything, work through anything. Now, they stood there with their hats literally in their hands, begging some clerk from back east for 30 more days. The clerk had his orders: foreclose, seize the land, move on to the next one. Here's what made it unbearable. The money existed. The crops existed. The land existed. America was producing more food than ever before, but the money supply was being deliberately strangled, and that artificial scarcity was destroying real people for abstract reasons that made sense only to bankers in New York and politicians in Washington. The explanation they gave was always the same. The gold standard keeps our currency stable. Stable. That was the word they used while Baum watched 7 families on his street slowly starve because wheat prices had collapsed, but debt stayed constant. When Baum finally closed his store in 1891, he wasn't just another failed merchant. He was radicalized. He'd seen how the system really worked, who it served, and who it crushed. And he decided to do something about it. But he was a writer, not a politician. So he did what writers do. He built a weapon out of words, the monster behind the curtain. In the 1939 movie, the wizard is a lovable buffoon, a harmless old man who means well but got in over his head. That's not what Baum wrote. In the original book, when Dorothy first meets the wizard, he appears as an abomination. Baum describes a creature the size of an elephant, with 5 eyes, 5 legs, 5 arms, and covered entirely in thick hair. A monster, specifically designed to terrify a small girl. And this monster immediately demands that Dorothy commit murder, not defeat, not capture, not negotiate with, murder. Kill the Wicked Witch of the West and bring proof of her death, or you'll never see Kansas again. This is what Baum understood about power. It demands blood, then pretends to be your friend afterward. The wizard represents every authority figure who sends ordinary people to fight battles while hiding safely behind. Intimidation, and spectacle. Every politician who beats the war drum from the safety of Washington. Every banker who forecloses on farms while never missing a meal. And when Dorothy finally rips back the curtain, what does she find? A small, frightened man frantically pulling levers, desperately trying to maintain the illusion that made his power possible. No magic, no authority, just theater and the fear it generates. Baum was showing his readers something specific. Your leaders are frauds. The entire system is smoke and mirrors operated by mediocrities. And the only reason it continues is because people are afraid to look behind the curtain. The machine that ate a man's soul. The Tin Man's backstory isn't in the movie, and there's a reason for that. It's too disturbing. Too honest about what industrialization was doing to American workers. His name was Nick Chopper. He was a woodsman who fell in love with a Munchkin servant girl. Her employer, the Wicked Witch of the East, didn't approve, so she enchanted his axe to betray him. First swing, his leg is severed. A tinsmith replaces it with a metal one. Next swing, his arm, another replacement. Then the other arm, the other leg, his torso. Finally, his head. Each time, Nick Chopper thought he was fixing the problem. Each time, he traded a piece of his humanity for continued function. He could still work. That's what mattered, right? But when the transformation was complete, when he'd become entirely metal, his girlfriend ran screaming. Because the thing standing before her wasn't Nick anymore. It was a machine in the shape of a man. Only then did he understand what he'd lost. Not his body, his heart, his capacity for love, for connection, for feeling anything that makes life worth living. This is Baum's most precise metaphor. He'd watched industrial capitalism do exactly this to workers. Step by step, you sacrifice humanity for efficiency. You give up family time for overtime. You give up your health for productivity. You give up your dreams for survival. And by the time you realize what you've traded away, there's nothing left to trade back. The factory didn't just take your labor, it took your soul and handed you a tin replacement that works just fine but feels nothing at all. The leader who couldn't lead the cowardly lion wasn't subtle, and Baum didn't intend him to be. Contemporary readers knew exactly who this was. William Jennings Bryan, the great hope who failed when it mattered most. July 1896, the Democratic National Convention. The party is fragmenting over monetary policy. Should America add silver to its currency or stick with gold alone? Then Bryan takes the stage. Young, unknown, electric. He delivers what would become one of the most famous speeches in American history. His voice shakes the rafters. His rhetoric sets the convention on fire. He spreads his arms wide and roars, "You shall not crucify mankind upon a cross of gold." The crowd goes insane. This is the leader they've been waiting for. The voice that could challenge the banks and win. Bryan gets the nomination. He barnstorms the country. Everywhere he goes, thousands gather to hear him speak. His roar is magnificent, undeniable, powerful enough to shake the foundations of American finance. And then he loses. The banking interests mobilize every resource. They flood the country with propaganda. They threaten economic apocalypse if Bryan wins. And Bryan, for all his roaring, doesn't fight back hard enough. He pulls his punches. He softens his message. He tries to seem reasonable to people who are never going to be reasonable. He would run 2 more times. He would lose 2 more times. Baum watched this and created the cowardly lion, a creature with the most powerful roar in Oz, capable of scaring anyone, but who spends the entire journey convinced he lacks courage, who has all the tools for victory, but defeats himself before the fight even begins. The tragedy isn't that the lion is weak. The tragedy is that he's strong, but believes he's weak, and that belief becomes the only thing holding him back. The road that leads nowhere. Let's talk about that yellow brick road everyone told you to follow. In 1894, Jacob Coxey organized what he called an army of unemployed workers. They would march from Ohio to Washington, D.C., and demand that the government help its citizens. Hundreds of desperate men walked for weeks through rain and cold, believing that if they just reached the capital, if they just presented themselves to their representatives, help would come. They called it Coxey's Army, and America watched with fascination as this procession of hope made its way toward the golden promise of democracy. On May 1st, 1894, they arrived. About 500 men stood on the Capitol lawn. Coxey stepped forward to deliver his petition. The police immediately attacked. Coxey was arrested for walking on the grass. His supporters were beaten and dispersed. The golden road of American democracy had led them straight into a trap. Baum published The Wizard of Oz in 1900. The same year Congress officially passed the Gold Standard Act. The timing was deliberate. The metaphor was obvious to anyone paying attention. The yellow brick road is the gold standard itself. Shiny, solid, seemingly trustworthy. Everyone tells you to follow it. All the experts agree it's the only safe path forward. But where does it actually lead? To a fraud. To a tiny man behind a curtain, pulling levers and hoping no one notices he has no idea what he's doing. To broken promises and shattered hopes, and the realization that the golden path was always designed to serve someone else's interests, not yours. Even the name of the country reveals Baum's joke. Oz, as in ounces. The unit of measurement for precious metals. You don't visit a magical kingdom. You enter a world where human worth is weighed in gold and silver, where your value as a person is determined by how much metal you can accumulate. The city built on lies. In the movie, the Emerald City genuinely sparkles. It's a place of real beauty and wonder. Baum wrote something darker. In the book, every citizen who enters the Emerald City is forced to wear green-tinted spectacles, locked onto their heads. They're told this is necessary to protect their eyes from the city's overwhelming brilliance. It's a lie. Remove the glasses, and the Emerald City is gray, ordinary, shabby. The prosperity is an optical illusion maintained by forcing everyone to see poverty through a lens that makes it look like wealth. This is Baum's most cutting critique of American capitalism. The system doesn't just fail people, it forces them to see that failure as success. You're not struggling, you're building character, you're not underpaid, you're gaining experience. The city isn't gray, you're just not wearing the right glasses. The real trick isn't making people believe in prosperity, it's making them believe that questioning the prosperity makes them crazy. The power you always had, now we get to the ending. And why Hollywood had to change it. In both versions, Glinda the Good Witch finally tells Dorothy the truth. She always had the power to go home. From the very first moment she arrived in Oz, she could have clicked her heels and returned to Kansas. But in Baum's book, those heels weren't ruby, they were silver. Those silver slippers represented the free coinage of silver, the monetary policy that could have saved America's farmers and workers from the gold standard stranglehold. The power to fix everything was already there, already in their possession. They just needed to recognize it and use it. But Baum's message went deeper than monetary policy. The wizard couldn't help Dorothy. He was a fraud. The yellow brick road couldn't help her. It led to that fraud. The Emerald City couldn't help her. It was built on lies. The only real power was the power she carried with her from the beginning. The power that no authority figure gave her. the power that the system tried to make her forget she possessed. Baum's mother-in-law was Matilda Jocelyn Gage, one of the most radical suffragettes in American history. Too radical for Susan B. Anthony, which is saying something. Gage believed that all external authority was inherently corrupt, that real power came only from within, and that recognizing your own power was the first step toward liberation. When Glinda tells Dorothy, "You had to learn it for yourself," that's Gage's philosophy speaking through Baum. No government can grant you freedom. No leader can give you power. No system can save you. You have to save yourself, and you have to do it by recognizing that you never needed them in the first place. The story they buried. When MGM changed the slippers from silver to ruby, they made them meaningless. Pretty, sparkly, a nice visual in Technicolor. Nothing more. They erased the monetary allegory. They erased the political message. They turned revolution into entertainment. And it worked. Generations of Americans have watched The Wizard of Oz without ever knowing they were seeing a smuggled manifesto, a coded instruction manual for recognizing and resisting corrupt authority. Frank Baum saw his neighbors destroyed by a system that served the powerful at the expense of the powerless. He watched policies made in distant boardrooms murder real people in real time, and he decided to fight back the only way he knew how. He wrote a children's story that every child in America would read. He hid the truth inside magic and wonder, knowing that once planted, those seeds might someday grow into something dangerous. The silver slippers were always there. The power was always there. You just had to learn to see it for yourself.